Hi, good evening to all of you. Today, as a part of our special YouTube class on an academy platform, I shall be discussing different tips to clear the General Studies preliminary examination. As you know, this preliminary examination is one of the most difficult examinations in the entire UPSC examination process. It is one of the most difficult because of the fact that maximum number of people will take this examination. Almost every year around 11 lakh people will apply for it, and out of which only around 10,000 people will be clearing the prelims. As you know, the percentage is very less, minuscule. Obviously, this stage is the most difficult stage in the entire examination process. As part of a half an hour discussion today, let us look at what can be done by the students to clear the preliminary examination in spite of having so much of uncertainty regarding this examination. So, as you can see, this is an academy initiative wherein you can get the subscription and you can access all top videos of top faculties on an academy platform. And they had come out with an academy also has come out with study material, quality study material, and of course these are all some of the topics that I am taking. You can see importance of public administration, the latest developments in public administration. So these are the codes which can be used by you to enroll yourself into these courses. Let us come back and look at what we are discussing today. You can see that the general studies paper in the preliminary examination paper 1 has 100 questions. You must remember that this paper 2, what otherwise we call it as popularly CSAT, it has been made qualifying by UPSC. So you have to get only 33% of the questions right. So with a good amount of preparation, it should not be a problem for you to clear paper 2. So your entire success in the examination depends only on your performance in paper 1. It is an objective type of examination. It has 100 questions. As you can see here also, the cutoff in this paper 1 in the last 5 years is around 100 marks, going around, sometimes it is around above 100 marks, 1 or 2 marks, or sometimes it is below. In the last few years, it is only less than 100 marks only. So that means out of 200 marks, net, if you are scoring above 100 marks, you can be sure of clearing this preliminary examination. It means that, as you can see here, it means that the students must score at least 50 questions right, net 50 questions right in the preliminary examination. Net 50 questions means the difference between the right answers and the wrong answers. For example, if you are answering around 80 questions, you got 60 of them right, 20 of them are wrong. For every question, for a wrong question, UPSC deduct 1/3 marks. So 20 question means 7 questions. So 16 minus 7, you are getting 53. That means your scoring is 106. That is how you calculate your net score. So what is the best way of scoring those 100 marks? This is what we have to look at. Right now, what we have to see is how to score those 100 marks confidently in the preliminary examination. That is what let us try to see what can be done. If you look at the composition of this general studies paper in the last few years, you can see here the questions that are asked from different topics. Indian polity, you can see that they are asking around 15 questions. Sometimes they ask 18 questions, 19 questions. Last year they asked 20 questions also. Sometimes they will ask only 10 questions or 11 questions. That is for UPSC, because UPSC deliberately makes the entire question paper highly unpredictable. It makes highly unpredictable. It says it does not want any kind of predictability. Every year they give the same kind of questions. Students will prepare in the same manner. That is the reason why UPSC wants students to prepare every section. They keep on changing the weightage of each and every section. And on average, we can take that they are asking around 15 questions from polity. Economy, 10 to 12 questions. Sometimes it can be more, sometimes it can be 15 also. And history, again, it varies between 15 to 20 questions. When I say history here, I'm talking about, I'm talking about ancient history, culture, medieval history, and modern history. All of them combined together. Nowadays, they are asking questions from post-independent India's history also in your clips. So everything is part of history only. So they are asking around 15 questions. Sometimes they can be 20 questions also from all these topics combined together. Geography and ecology and environment. If I combine both of them, they are asking around 35-40 questions. Definitely every year 30-35 questions will be from this topic. As you can see, this is one of the most important topics in the preliminary examination from your examination from your success point of view. Science and technology around 10 to 12 questions. Here when I say science and technology, it includes traditional sciences like physics, chemistry, biology, and also latest scientific technological developments also around 10 to 12 questions. International relations, they're asking around 5 to 7 questions. In international relations, I'm including multilateral institutions, various kinds of indices that UPSC keeps on asking, apart from all these major groupings and treaties signed by the government of India. All of them combined together, they can ask even 10 questions also. And another topic that UPSC is focusing right now in recent times is these government schemes and other current events. Government schemes and other current events, they're asking around 15 questions, 10 to 15 questions. So basically, if we look at the 100 marks of 100 questions of General Studies Paper 1, this is what you can see here. They are asking questions from these 8 different, you can say, topics. Now we have to see how to get those 50 questions right from these 8 topics. What are the things where you have to do well? What are things where you can a little bit ignore them? Please remember, nobody can master the entire syllabus. It is almost impossible. It is almost impossible to master the entire syllabus. So what you must remember, as we see here, what can be done. So first and foremost, the first point as I have mentioned here, the first and foremost thing that you have to remember is that you must identify the areas where you can score maximum marks. This is where the preparation or the success in the preliminary examination depends mostly on. As I said, out of the 8 topics that we have mentioned, you have to have at least a good grip over at least 5 of them, majority of them, so that you can clear this preliminary examination without any difficulty. Identify the areas where you can score. For example, if you are from science background, you can depend on geography, you can depend on environment, you can depend on science and technology. That will give you good marks, that will fetch you good marks in the clips. If you are from humanities background, you can talk about say history, or for that matter politics or culture, or a little bit of current affairs or international institutions. These are the things which you can score. So you have to identify the areas where you will be scoring those marks. This is the first thing that you have to do. Identify your strong areas, identify your weak areas, so that you can easily get those 50 questions right. As the second point mentions here, nobody can cover the entire syllabus. Never try to cover the entire syllabus. Never commit to this mistake of covering the entire syllabus. There is nothing like covering the entire syllabus. It is all about what we say optimization, maximizing your strengths and minimizing your weaknesses. That is what is required for this examination. Next, as a third point mentions here, do not try to read too many sources. Never commit this mistake of reading from too many sources. For example, if someone takes Indian polity, they will try to read from Lakshmikant, they will try to read from D.D. Basu, Constitution. They will try to read the same thing from P.N. Bakshi. Then what is the problem with these kind of things is that you will get unnecessarily confused. You will get unnecessarily complicated. You will be making things complicated. And that is the reason why Don't try to read from too many sources. Take one book, read it 10 times, rather than reading 10 books and taking 10 books and reading it only one time. You will never be able to master the subjects. Take only one book, read it 10 times. That is the secret of success as far as your pre-preparation is concerned. Next, the fourth point mentions here, remember it is difficult to remember too many fraction figures. Is it possible for you to remember all the fraction figures? Not at all. Mugging up facts can be there only to some extent. Then what is the solution? The solution is focus on conceptual clarity. This is what is important. You must focus on conceptual clarity. You must ensure that you have this kind of a conceptual clarity. Once you have conceptual clarity, especially in economy, polity, or for that matter, in geography, then you will easily be getting good marks. Nowadays, in the last few years, what is the trend that we can observe in the UPSC preliminary examination? The trend is that UPSC is focusing a little bit more on concepts, whether it's economy or polity. When they're asking about fundamental rights, they will want you to understand what exactly is this fundamental right. They want you to understand the difference between rights and duties. They want you to understand the dynamics of relationship between the union and states. They want you to understand the essence of the judicial activism. That is what they want you to understand. What is this concept of good governance? They want you to understand the what is this expansionary fiscal policy and what is the impact of that expansionary fiscal policy. That is what we call analysis. This analysis will come to you better only when you have conceptual clarity. So make sure that you have this conceptual clarity. Even last year also, I am talking about 2020, last year flips. There were around 21 questions of Indian polity. If you are good with the basic concepts of polity, you will be answering at least 17 to 16 questions easily. That means without mugging up the facts, without remembering the events, without recalling the figures, you can easily score those 16-17 marks, provided you have that kind of conceptual clarity. The same is the case with economy. Every year they are asking around 12 questions on economy. At least 6-7 questions are from only what you call concepts in economy. And fortunately, we don't have any too many concepts in economy which are difficult or complicated. So focus on those things. So that when you go to the examination hall, you can go with the confidence that yes, I am able to score at least 70% of the questions because of my conceptual clarity. Develop that conceptual clarity. Try to understand the concept from a by point of view. Try to analyze those things. That is where the secret of success lies. Next, the next important thing that you have to remember is that make sure that you are committing very less number of mistakes in your areas of strength. As I said, if your major strength is geography or ecology or environment, make sure that you are committing a very less number of mistakes in those in those areas. As I said, maximizing your strengths is what again one of the success mantras as far as this examination is concerned. You please remember that prelims is full of uncertainty. Every year UPSC keeps on changing the question papers. Sometimes they give a lot of importance to current affairs. Sometimes they give importance to geography. Sometimes they give importance to polity. Whatever may be the composition of the question paper, you must make sure that you are committing as less number of mistakes as you can, as you should, in your areas of strength. And I can see so many of our students not clearing the preliminary examination basically because they commit very simple mistakes. Those of you who have already written the prelims, they also know what I am saying here. Come out of the examination hall, you can see that all those questions you could have easily answered had they been given to you outside the examination hall. So make sure that you are not committing those kind of silly and simple mistakes. If you are committing those kind of silly and simple mistakes, it becomes difficult for you to clear the examination. Then next point, as you can see here, is that get at least 80% of the questions in your strong areas. Right. That means What we are saying is that here, if they are asking around say 20 questions from polity, you must get at least 16 questions from polity right. That is the secret of success again. Make sure that you are getting all those questions in your areas of strength right. As you can see here, if Indian polity is your strength, if it is Indian polity is your strength, then what you have to do? Make sure that you are scoring at least 12 questions out of the 15 questions asked from polity. If your Indian economy is your strength, again, out of 10 questions, make sure that you are getting 8 of them right. That is where your secret of success lies. And another thing that you have to remember is that students keep on asking me about what to read for prelims, what are the sources and all these kind of things. What you have to remember is that the most authentic source of information you can get only from government sources. Again, please remember one more thing. UPSC will never, I repeat, UPSC will never go beyond the government sources for asking questions. Last year, in the preliminary examination 2020, lots of questions were asked from agriculture, and students found those questions very difficult. But those who have read economic survey, they could easily answer all the questions because all the questions were directly picked up from agriculture topic, agriculture chapter in economic survey. That is where I say that if at all you are preparing, what you must remember is that start your preparation with government sources, and more importantly, end your preparation with government sources only. For example, you are reading history. First read NCERT books, ancient, medieval, and modern. Read them at least 4 or 5 times. And whenever there is any kind of slight kind of doubt or conflict regarding the answers, what UPSC will do? UPSC will always go by the information given in these government sources. They will not go by any other books written by any of the others. They are not concerned. They are not at all concerned about those things. They will go by government sources. Whatever that is being published in the government sources is the most authentic information that is being considered by UPSC. That is the reason why I say that these things, economic survey, budget, India yearbook, these are all the things which should be like what is called gold mine as far as information for you regarding the preliminary examination is concerned. And don't try to go beyond those sources. And then, as I said, the next point, revise the study material at least 4 or 5 times. If you are reading economic survey, people read survey only once. Then after that, they forget it. They don't go back. They think that let me go through the synopsis of economic survey that is available in the market given by various coaching institutes. They will give the synopsis of around 30 pages, 40 pages. And the problem is that the synopsis is what that is being prepared by, it is being prepared by the so-called experts. And UPSC need not go by the opinion of the experts. Always say that just revise the original text at least 4 or 5 times. Otherwise, it becomes difficult to remember. The basic problem, those who have taken the preliminary examination, they can easily empathize with this. The basic problem is that out of the 4 choices that UPSC gives, you can easily remove 2 of them. And the problem comes in selecting one among the remaining 2. And 99% of the time, when you mark one as your answer, and when you come out and see the real answer, the real answer will be the other one. So 99% of the time, probability says that it is 50-50%, but in reality, probability will never work. It is 99% of the time you will only get them wrong. That is the reason why how to remember, how to get them right, read it. Read 4 or 5 times, 6-7 times, 10 times, so that you will not be able to leave any point here. For example, the question says that which among the following are true about the Janani Suraksha Yojana launched by the government of India? They will say that it was launched in the year. This program is for these sections of society. They say that this program is implemented part of much bigger program. Like that, they will give you 4 choices. How do you remember all 4 of them? Only when you study about the scheme at least 10 times. Then only you will be able to remember all of them. That is the reason why, as I always say, read less, revise more, and remember better, recall them efficiently in the examination hall. This is the 4R formula which you have to adopt. Next, Next thing is that this is what again most of the students will be committing the mistake. Don't do too many mock tests. Mostly the questions are not relevant from the examination point of view. The students again keep on coming and asking me, sir, how many mock tests series that we have to do? Because nowadays online also, this is the age of online. You can see that you can see that most almost every coaching institute is providing these mock tests free of cost for practice. And when you take the mock test, you will be causing more harm to your preparation than doing any good. Why? Because as you can see clearly written here, most of these questions are asked are not relevant from the examination point of view in the mock test. Unfortunately, they are not asked they're relevant from the examination point of view. Most of the mock tests, what do they do? The coaching institutes, what they do? They will try to make the question paper as difficult as possible so that the students would feel that they are taking a good examination. There is this uh, perception among the students is that the more the difficult the question paper conducted by the coaching institutes, the more it is useful from their UPSC point of view. That is not the case. UPSC always gives questions which are extremely relevant. Please remember, they give the questions which are extremely relevant. They don't ask difficult questions for the sake of asking difficult questions. That is the reason why don't unnecessarily do too many mock tests. And then how do you practice? Focus more on previous year's UPSC question papers. That is what you have to do. Take polity. Take the questions of Indian polity questions that were asked in the last, say, 30 years or so. You can practice from, say, 1995 till now. Practice all the questions of polity. Every year, 10 questions. In 30 years, you have 300 questions. The best question bank for your polity. There is nothing better than the previous year's questions. Take the case of geography. Take the case of history. History is far better. Why? Because history is a static subject. And there is every possibility that UPSC will be repeating the questions. Even now also I can say with conviction that out of our 100 questions asked by UPSC, especially in polity or economy or history or in geography, where some of the things are static, at least every year 4 or 5 questions are repeated only from previous year's papers. You don't want to lose out on those 4 or 5 questions. Take polity last 30 years. Read all take all the questions of polity that was asked by UPSC in the last 30 years. Try to answer the questions. Take the case of history. As I said, history is a static subject. Again, go through all the questions. Take the case of geography. The static parts of geography, this world geography and physical geography, those things. Again, do the same thing. Take economy. Leave the current affairs. Take the theoretical and analytical and conceptual aspects. Again, do them. This is the best way of preparing for examination, especially from practice point of view. And then right now you have almost 2 months of time for your examination is around 27th of June if I am right, and you have around say 2 months time for your examination, right? So the last 1 month of your preparation, as I have written here, should be revision of all topics and current events. In that 1 month, revise at least 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Because if the question comes from the topics that you have studied, you should never get it wrong. If you don't revise, if you read it only 1 or 2 times, definitely you know that you have studied about Janani Suraksha Yojana, but you don't know exactly the details. You don't know the what are the difficult components of those programs. That means you will get that question wrong. You have studied, you have worked hard, still there is no success. That is the reason why you don't want to lose out on all those questions. You don't want to lose out on those things wherein you already have put in a lot of effort. That is the reason why last 1 month don't read anything new. In the last 1 month, don't read anything new, except for reading newspapers. What UPSC is doing is that nowadays, in order to make the question paper a little bit more unpredictable, if I can say that, what UPSC is doing, they're asking current affairs questions at least 2 3 weeks before the examination also. Just before the question paper goes for printing, they're adding 1 or 2 questions of the 2 3 weeks back current affairs also. So that normally people, what do? They stop reading the newspapers 1 month before. Don't do that. Read newspapers at least 15 days before the examination hall, before the date of the examination also, and make sure that you are revising all those things. The last 1 month of your preparation should be reserved only for revising the things, especially the facts related to government schemes, facts related to multilateral institutions, facts related to current science and technology, facts related to geography, ecology, and environment, facts related to culture, history, facts related to constitution. Try to revise all of them because you don't want any of those questions to be wrong. For example, if the question says that uh, which among the following are true about the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, they'll give you 1 2 4 3 4. You should not get those things wrong because they're all completely fact-based questions. Which among the following are true about the powers of President of India? You can never get them wrong. If you are getting them wrong, means you are not preparing in the right direction. That is the reason why I try to make sure that you are getting all those facts right. Next, as you can see here, how to get those 50 questions right. That is what we have to do. If you are from, if you have good knowledge of polity, you have to get those 12 questions of polity right. Economy is not difficult. Economy is one topic wherein with a little bit of hard work, you can get most of the questions right. And history, again, if you focus on modern history and culture, you can definitely get 10 to 12 questions right. And especially in modern history, the questions are not that difficult. With little bit of studying, reading, you can do that. International relations, those multilateral institutions, if you prepare, where it is in a G20, in a United Nations, ASEAN, ARF, or whatever it may be, BRICS, you name it, United Nations, all the organs of United Nations. Along with that, these indices, global, hunger index, multidimensional poverty index, and human development index. All these indices, just keep on preparing them. Obviously, you will definitely get 4 to 5 questions very easily right. As I said, this is very easy way of getting the marks. Government schemes. Try to remember at least 50 government schemes. You will answer in 2019 out of 100%, 12 questions are only from government schemes only. If you have prepared 50 questions, 50 government schemes, you would have answered at least 8 to 10 questions very easily. Every year, at least 4 5 questions will be from government schemes. Last year also, at least 6 questions from government schemes only. Agriculture, then rural development, urban development, women and child development, and other infrastructure schemes. They will say which among the following are true about Atmanirbhar Bharat, like that. So then geography and ecology, don't have too much of ambitions. Get around 12 to 15 questions right. Then science and technology. Again, if you are not from science background, don't expect too many questions. Even if you don't get a single question right, I am not that much concerned. Other current events, around 6 to 7 questions. The next thing is that how many questions you have to, how many questions you have to attempt in the examination. Out of 100, I would say that you can attempt around 85 questions with around 80% success ratio. 80-85 questions with 80% success ratio. So obviously, with the 80% of success ratio, you'll be getting around 64 questions right, and remaining wrong, 7 questions wrong. 64 minus 7, 57. So you'll be clearing the plea very easily. So get 85 questions answer. Try to answer around 85 questions, and more than that, 90 questions. The wrong questions will be high, negatives will be high. You may not be able to clear. So 85 questions definitely you can attempt. Beyond that, if you are confident, you can attempt the questions with around 75% success rate. Even 75% success rate is also will be more than sufficient for you to clear the examination. Now let me go through quickly the sources also. What are the important sources? For polity, you can just go through Lakshmikant. It is a good book. and you can read at least 3-4 times. You can answer most of the questions. Last year also, the statements were directly picked up from Lakshmikant only in polity. Economy, you can see economic survey and budget, Indian economy by Mishra and Puri, and newspapers. That should not be more than that should be more than sufficient. History, NCRT, and other authentic government sources. Geography, you can go through India Yearbook, NCRT books, and as I said, mostly government sources. Towards the end of India Yearbook, you have information given about all the states. Please go through that information. All the 28 states in India. Prepare in a very structural information about all the things. Whether it is what are the different soils, different irrigation dams, different rivers, and different industries and different forests. All these things in all these states, prepare a list that will be more than sufficient for you to answer most of the questions. Ecology and environment, again India Yearbook, Ministry of Environment and the Forest Annual Reports. These are the things which you have to remember. These are things which you have to do as part of your preparation. And don't honestly, as I said, don't honestly go through the other things. And look at then government schemes. You can have India Yearbook. Most of the schemes will be there, government schemes. International relations, other events, newspapers will be Hindu and Indian Express. Science and technology, any standard textbook with more emphasis on current events. So this is what you have to prepare. This is how you have to prepare. I hope this half an hour discussion can be helpful in clearing your preliminary examination. Thank you very much. Best of luck.